Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We're going to decode the very blueprint of civilization itself. We're journeying back thousands of years to see how the first great cities were born, and you'll see how their innovations are still shaping our world right now. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at that huge leap from simple village life to bustling cities. Then, we'll break down what civilization actually means. After that, we're diving into three ancient powerhouses: Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and Egypt. And we'll wrap it all up by connecting their ancient world to ours. All right, first up, let's dive into what might be the single most important shift in all of human history: that move from scattered villages to organized cities. This wasn't just about more people living together, it was a total rewiring of how society itself worked. And this slide just lays it all out so clearly. You see, as farming got better, some people got wealthier. And that new elite class started building the very first cities. We're talking permanent centers with stone houses, planned roads, massive temples, and all of it surrounded by protective walls. This was the birth of a brand new social order, and it changed our relationship with the land and with each other forever. Okay, so what is the secret sauce? What actually turns a big town into what we call a civilization? It's not just about having a lot of people. It's about a whole new level of organization, a complexity that completely changes the game. So what are those key ingredients? Well, it's a society that hits a certain tipping point. It's a place marked by a whole set of new advancements that all work together, reinforcing and building on one another. And here they are, the core components. You need urban centers, a system for writing, organized government, formal religion, and long-distance trade. But a list is just a list. To really get it, to understand their power, we have to see them in action. So let's travel back in time to meet the pioneers who first put this blueprint to work. So let's kick things off with our first case study, Mesopotamia. You've probably heard of it, often called one of the cradles of civilization. It popped up around 5,000 years ago in what's now modern-day Iraq, and believe me, it set the stage for so much of what came later. And its name literally tells you everything you need to know. It means the land between the rivers. This geography, this fertile crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates, was the absolute key. It allowed for incredible agriculture, which was basically the economic engine that powered everything else. And you cannot talk about Mesopotamia without talking about religion. It was everything to them. Priests were incredibly powerful, and they oversaw worship from these enormous temple complexes called ziggurats. But these weren't just churches. They were the economic and administrative hearts of the entire city. Now this is a total game changer. Cuneiform, the world's first writing system. They would press these wedge-shaped marks into wet clay tablets. It was a complex system, and with it, they could suddenly record laws, manage trade, track harvests, and for the first time in human history, write down their stories. And get this, it wasn't just for keeping track of grain or for legal codes. This was the birth of literature. It was a way to preserve their entire culture, to pass down their myths, and to start exploring what it even means to be human. Okay, from Mesopotamia, we're going to head east, over to the Indus River Valley, in what's now Pakistan and India. This place was home to a civilization of, frankly, brilliant engineers and city planners who were just centuries ahead of their time. So we're talking around 2600 BC. And this place was massive. Geographically, it was bigger than Egypt and Mesopotamia put together. At its height, you're looking at as many as 5 million people living there. Just think about that scale for a moment. And what's so mind-blowing about their cities, like Mohenjo-Daro here, is how well-planned they were. We're talking streets laid out in a perfect grid, buildings made from standardized, baked bricks, and even advanced sanitation systems, like covered drains and private wells. It suggests a really organized government focused on public health, a concept that wouldn't show up again on this scale for thousands of years. I love this comparison because it shows their genius at two totally different scales. On the one hand, you have the massive, sprawling city planning, and on the other, this tiny, intricately carved seal. These seals also feature their writing system, which, to this day, is one of history's great unsolved mysteries. We just can't read it. And for our final case study, we're heading to a place that really needs no introduction: the banks of the Nile, home to the iconic and incredibly enduring civilization of ancient Egypt. I mean, think about it. This kingdom, ruled by god kings they called pharaohs, thrived for over 3,000 years. And the secret to their incredible success? The Nile River. Its predictable annual flooding made the desert bloom, and that sustained their entire civilization.
And of course, the pyramids. It's so easy to just see them as big monuments, but they were so much more. These weren't palaces for the living. They were monumental tombs, kind of like eternal machines, designed to protect the pharaoh's body and soul and guarantee their journey into the afterlife. They're just a stunning testament to their beliefs and their engineering skill. But their genius went way beyond just building big. They gave us hieroglyphs, they invented papyrus sheets to write on. Their medical knowledge from perfecting mummification was incredible. And hey, that 365-day calendar we all use? Yeah, that's them. It's the direct ancestor of the one on your wall right now.
Okay, so after all that, why should we care? Why does any of this ancient history matter right now? Well, because we are literally living inside their legacy every single day, and often in ways we don't even notice. Here's a fun one. Ever look at a clock and wonder why 60 seconds in a minute? Why 60 minutes in an hour? Yep, you can thank the Mesopotamians for that. They used a base 60 counting system, and it was super practical for dividing things up. So every time you check your watch, you're using their ancient math. And seriously, the list just goes on and on. Paper from ancient China, which let knowledge just explode across the world. The Maya figuring out how to process rubber. The very idea of a written code of law for Mesopotamia. It's like they built the invisible scaffolding of our entire modern world. And that really